Super Mario Wonder is just around the corner, so I challenged myself to remake the game's coolest additions to my own Mario Maker fangame, Super Smashy Maker. This goes all the way from the elephant power-up and Drill Mario to new enemies like hippos and conchs. Let's take a look. In my previous video, I recreated the bubble power-up. Now it's time for the other ones. Let's start with Drill Mario. To become Drill Mario, we obviously need the drill mushroom first. So let's grab it from this question block. The drill mushroom actually looks quite cool too. Now we are Drill Mario, but we're still missing the most important part, the drill. The drill itself is actually a separate sprite, just like the shellmets we have in Super Mario Maker 2. Right here, the drill sprite is very fixed and doesn't really move with the player, unlike a shellmet, which does move based on the player's speed. So let's add that too. There we go, looks way better. When enemies fall on top of the drill, they instantly die, just as is the case in Super Mario Wonder. This is actually quite similar to a spiny shellmet, easy kills. What makes Drill Mario so unique is that he can dig into the ground. In Super Smashy Maker it looks like this. Well, let's polish it up first. To make the digging sprite look better, I gave it an animation. The faster you go, the faster the animation plays. When Mario digs into the ground, a dig effect also plays now. Next to that, Mario loses all his momentum when digging down. Just like in Super Mario Wonder, we can avoid enemies by digging underneath them. This is actually pretty useful. It also allows us to travel under walls, just like this. Mario can also always pop back out of the digging state like so. This will play the same digging effect as before. He can do this as many times as he wants. But maybe I should add a small delay, because it kinda looks like Mario has explosive diarrhea here. Wait, looks like Mario found something underground. Oh, that's right. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because it helps me out a lot. Thanks. Drill Mario can also dig into ceilings as seen in Super Mario Wonder. Let's see what happens if we use the exact same code as before. Yeah, it doesn't seem too good, so let's change it up. There we go, looks way better. Now Mario can also move along ceilings, which is very cool. Going through walls is still possible here, as well as exiting and entering a ceiling all the time. I wasn't sure about adding the drill ground pound feature in the SMB1 style, as it's not possible to ground pound normally either, but maybe I'll add it later. Elephant Mario might be the biggest new power-up in Super Mario Wonder, as it gives the player a lot of new and unique abilities. To become Elephant Mario, we need some elephant fruit first. This is how it looks in Super Smashy Maker. And here are all the animations I have so far for Elephant Mario. Idle, run, jump, duck, and skid. More animations will be added later. Elephant Mario can use his trunk to hit enemies and launch them away. Because I don't have the trunk animations yet, I simply only added in the code for now. So if Mario gets close to an enemy and presses the action button, that enemy will get hit. It's also still possible to jump off of enemies. Elephant Mario is also able to run over 2 tile-wide gaps. Well, this only works if he runs fast enough like so. He can also break certain blocks by running into them. These and other abilities like the water trunk will be improved and added later on whenever I have the right sprites for those. A great new enemy in Super Mario Wonder is the hippo. These enemies are quite slow, but turn into a bouncy ball when jumped on. Let's take a look at this recreation. I began with creating a simple walk animation and gave him some basic movement and collision detection. As you can see, he walks quite slowly. When jumped on, the hippo turns into a ball form of himself and starts moving more quickly. After that, I also made him rotate. I had some funny bugs happening at first, like a very fast spinning hippo or in the wrong direction. After a small fix, the hippo now rotates according to his speed and direction. This purple enemy turns around when hitting a wall, but also if Mario jumps on it in ball mode, depending on Mario's position relative to the hippo. For a cooler looking effect, I added a small bounce effect on the hippo, which can be seen here. Enemies will also be killed when crushed by the hippo. A cool feature of these hippos is that they can get stuck and form a static bouncy platform. As you can see, the hippo turns upright and slides down the correct position. First, I recreated that turning behavior like so. He turns pretty fast. After the rotation is completed, the sprite changes to a stuck sprite, which exactly fits in a 2-tile gap. Next up, he needs to slide down into the gap. This was done fast like so. Now he can be bounced off of while stuck inside of the ground. This turns reaching high places into a simple task. What are your thoughts on these purple bouncy enemies? Super Mario Wonder added in some new types of blocks, including this extendable platform block. If the block is hit, a platform spawns out from the sides. I think this block can be pretty useful in multiple scenarios. I started by adding the base, which is the actual block. Just like all the other hittable blocks, it plays a bump animation when hit, but apart from that, it doesn't do anything yet, so let's continue. The next step was building the extendable platform, which looks like this. The platform acts like a semi-solid, so it can be jumped through from below. Here is a rough simulation of what it should look like after adding in the code, so let's do that. There we go, that wasn't too difficult. Now the platform extends out to the right and can be jumped on. By hitting the platform again, it retracts itself. I haven't seen any gameplay of that in Super Mario Wonder, but I would assume it works like that. I also made the platform expand and retract way faster to resemble the original one better. Next to that, I added some more customization to these blocks. First of all, you can choose how long the platform is. This one is 8 tiles long, but maybe we should add a maximum length, because otherwise we would get this. Or this, which doesn't really seem too realistic for a Maker game, so let's cap it at 8 tiles for now. You can also choose to make the platform extend to the left. Not only players can use these platforms, but enemies and power-ups too. Kongs are brand new enemies which act similar to thwomps. They're basically normal and sideways thwomps combined. When a Kong detects Mario, it will first move horizontally into his direction, after which he plows down into an attempt to crush Mario. When recreating the Kong, I accidentally put his sprite upside down, but this will be fixed later on. In his idle state, he doesn't just sit fully still, but actually slightly moves left and right. He will also change directions after hitting a wall or other Kongs. If Mario gets in range, the Kong will move to Mario's position on the X-axis first, like so. Then he will do a downwards attack, so a bit faster than this please. Yeah, that's better. After that, he returns back to his original height. Also, I don't really know what happened here, but the Kong suddenly decided to run off. I guess he is already done crushing Mario. In Super Mario Wonder, upside down Kongs can also be spotted. These work exactly the same, but will instead perform an upward attack. The code was working quite well, so I began finalizing the animations. And the results weren't too bad in my humble opinion. What do you think? When a player dies in a multiplayer Mario game, we're used to them returning in a bubble waiting for another player to pop it, but Super Mario Wonder changed this. Now, you will become a tiny ghost form of the character you're playing as. To remake this feature in Super Smashy Maker, I used this sprite. It might look a bit static for now, but we'll change that in a moment. So like usual, I first attempted to recreate the movement of Ghost Mario, which didn't take too long. To make him look more lively, I also added 2 extra sprites, one for flying up and one for flying down. Although at first I accidentally mixed them up a little. What a certified 200 IQ moment. Luckily that was quickly resolved to look like this. To make it more dynamic, I made Ghost Mario hover up and down as well. As a ghost, it would be normal to be able to fly through solid blocks, so that functionality was also added in. Blooms are new enemies too, strongly resembling balloons. These enemies fly through the skies and get smaller over time as they lose air. For Smashy Maker, I used this sprite and started with the jump off functionality. Next up, I made them move left with around the same speed as in Super Mario Wonder. They can also fly through obstacles. The next step was to make him shrink over time. I did this using the scale of the game object in Unity, but as you can clearly see, something went horribly wrong. I mean, these are things you would only see in your worst nightmares. After that was resolved, it actually worked as intended, so over time he got smaller and smaller. These enemies also get a small speed and shrink boost when they're jumped on. The speed boost can clearly be seen here, although clearly exaggerated too. I quickly made it normal and added the shrink boost too. Now it looks way more similar to the original. When the blooms get too small, they die. In Super Mario Wonder, they can either pop or deflate. As I didn't have sprites to make a deflate animation, I decided to add a simple prototype pop effect. Here it is. These balloon enemies can go left, right, up, and down, so a lot of customization is possible here. There are also green versions of this enemy. I couldn't really tell their difference based on the gameplay I've seen, so for now I simply made them a bit faster. In my previous video, I already added in these colorful blocks, and for this video, I wanted to add the block eating enemies as well. I began with adding the biting and flying animation, as well as the basic movement. As seen in Super Mario Wonder, these block eaters don't only fly horizontally, but also diagonally. When they encounter a colored block, they bite into it, which breaks it. At first, I simply made it fly at the same rate while also breaking the blocks. Then I added some better block detection, which makes a block eater briefly stop before attacking and breaking the block. Here they are, devouring dozens of colored blocks. Later on, block breaking effects will also be added. Those were all the additions for today. If you want to see more on Super Smashy Maker, make sure to watch one of these 2 videos here. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.